Hey guys, Chapow here, back with another Destiny video for you guys. Now this video is going to be a bit different because I've never done this type of video before, because it is a news video related to Destiny 2. Now, the reason I haven't really done any of these before is because usually they take quite a lot of like pictures or screenshots or links from articles or like snapshots from articles and things like that to show what you're on about. But I've never really been able to do that because SHAREfactory, I don't think it's really... You can't really screenshot off like the search engine on PlayStation or anything. But maybe if I start using software like SHAREfactory, which I have downloaded onto my laptop, but for some reason it takes a really long time to export anything off my PlayStation onto a USB. So I don't know, I might try it out, but I do not know how to use it, so I'm a bit scared. So I'm basically just sticking to SHAREfactory. Now that is this has nothing to do with what I'm on about, but basically if you don't keep up to date with Destiny 2 news, then you might not have heard about this. But if you watch channels like More Console or DPJ regularly, then you will have heard about this because they made videos about it. Obviously, that's how you would have heard about it. But basically, Luke Smith, the game director for Destiny 2, posted an article, and it said that in Destiny 2 there aren't random rolls on weapons anymore. Now in Destiny 1, what would happen is you would play an activity, you'd get a weapon, and that weapon would have different perks and abilities that you could get, and there would always be one perfect version, which would be called the God Roll. And if you got the God Roll, it would be the best that the weapon could get, and it would show that you played the game quite a lot and that you'd worked hard to get that specific weapon or armor piece as a God Roll. Now he says there aren't random rolls on weapons anymore, and the example he gave for this was Better Devils, which is a Crucible hand cannon in Destiny 2, and what it has on it period. So that basically means, say if you play Crucible a lot and you get 10 Better Devils, and they will always have glass half full and rangefinder, for example. So they will always have glass half full and rangefinder no matter how many times you get it. Now your friend could also get a Better Devil's hand cannon, and it will also have glass half full and rangefinder. They could get 10 more, always have the rangefinder and glass half full. A random stranger will always get a Better Devils with glass half full and rangefinder. Now he said that the lineup and stats of perks for every weapon and armor piece is in Destiny 2 is now handcrafted, which means that the balancing team, or the team that's, you know, in charge of balancing all the weapons, has more flexibility and can do more in the way of balancing changes, which I said in my Destiny 2 wishlist that I really wanted. I wanted more balance changes, I wanted more effective balance changes. I didn't want one that just like nerf things into the ground or buff things all the way to the top. I wanted ones that were like little changes that made a wider, more broader meta. Now he then goes on to say that it means that everything can be balanced better, which they couldn't do in Destiny 1, because in Destiny 1, say if you had the Grasper Malloc say the Grasper Malloc was OP, for example, and everyone was like, oh, it needs to be nerfed, they couldn't nerf the Grasper Malloc specifically without nerfing all other pulse rifles with that exact same archetype, so the fast fire rate, low impact sort of pulse rifles. Same with any other weapon. So let's say, like another example would be the Clever Dragon or the Doctrine of Passing when that was OP. They wouldn't be able to nerf that weapon specifically. They had to nerf all of that archetype all at once, or say if the abilities were too OP on that weapon and that's what made the weapon good, they'd have to nerf those abilities in order to make it a bit balanced. So this has basically made it so that every weapon is its own individual thing in a way. So say if the Grasper Malloc's OP, they could then nerf the Grasper Malloc exclusively, or nerf the perks effects on Grasper Malloc to make a more balanced game. And he also then went on to say that it gets rid of the lottery sort of vibe that you would get in Destiny 1, because you didn't know, say if you've got a weapon, again I keep on going back to the Grasper Malloc because that's like my favourite weapon in Destiny 1. Say if you've got a Grasper Malloc, you wouldn't know if it was a really good one with like glass half full, rangefinder and things like that, or if it was a really bad one with like third eye, or the one where you crouch behind things and you can reload or whatever. I don't know the names of all the perks because I'm not a fucking nerd. And then he then went on to say, how can my second, third and 10th Better Devil's hand cannon be interesting? That's a question that we should be asking and answering as quickly as we can. We have ideas. While I would like nothing more than to share those ideas with you, we're up against the deadline. I don't know if they'll make it for our release date, but we have some ideas that we're pretty excited about. So he has some ideas of how to make each time you get that weapon or armor piece, he has a way of making that more interesting. They don't know if it's going to work because they're only ideas at this moment, and they also don't know if they can get them out before the release date. I really hope they do, and I'm really kind of skeptical about this because there is a good thing, obviously, like I've said. They can do balance changes more effectively, and you won't have one weapon that's OP for 3 years. I'm looking at you, last word. And there's also there's a few bad things because, as he said himself, how are they going to make it interesting when you keep on getting the same weapon over and over and over again? I know there's going to be a larger arsenal of weapons and armor in Destiny 2, but how much larger is it going to have to be in order to combat the way of having like 6 different roles on one weapon? In that example I've just given there, in order to make it replayable at all, there's going to be like, it's going to need to be like 6 times bigger or something like that. Or they're going to need to make really good fixes to all of the negatives, basically just repetitive loot. Anyway guys, if you have enjoyed that video, then please press that like button and that subscribe button, and go do the same to the rest of the Chapow crew. Their names will be in the description down below. But quickly before I leave you, another thing that I have a bit of an issue with is the weapon categorization, which I don't know how they're going to work around, because the fact that, like, you know, you've got snipers and shotguns in the power ranks, the same as a rocket launcher and a machine gun and swords. I don't know how they're going to make that work, but hopefully, I am hopeful for Destiny 2. There's a lot of people who are just giving up on it, saying that it's not really worth it. But I am hopeful for Destiny 2 to be a great game, and hopefully these things that I'm a little bit skeptical about, they can work on and actually make work, and make it even more fun than Destiny 1. Anyway guys, if you have enjoyed that video, then please press that like button and that subscribe button, and go do the same to the rest of the Chapow crew. Their names will be in that description down below. I know I've already said that, but I will see you guys next time, and goodbye.